If you've got a composite deck with an aluminum railing, you already know the problem. You don't want to drill into it, and you can't really clamp to the top rail, and bird feeders, they're just sitting in the yard. Here's the thing about aluminum railing. It's beautiful. It's zero maintenance, but it completely defeats every bird feeder bracket I've ever seen. The rail, it's too narrow and irregular to clamp, and I'm not drilling holes in something that costs this much money. So I made these. Today, I'm gonna make one for my neighbor. He's got the same setup I do, composite deck, aluminum railing, and nowhere to hang a feeder. And so I'll show you exactly how it works and how you can make one too. Now, I'm gonna show you the full custom version, the one I built from scratch, but if you don't have a torch or a welder, stick around because at the end, I'll show you how to do the exact same thing with a store-bought shepherd's hook and some paracord, no tools required. I'll also show you a little feature I built in for when the bears decide they want the birdseed more than the birds do. So let me show you how this thing stays put, because the physics, they're kind of satisfying. The base plate establishes the pivot point. This works similar to a farm mailbox. The geometry of the whole thing and the center of gravity cause it to always stay where you want it. Even if a pack of crazy squirrels are doing gymnastics on this, it's still going to stay centered. So getting this pivot in the right spot, it's important. Then we have the nylon straps that attach to the railing. The length of these determines the angle that this whole thing hangs at. That's important, and we'll get into that later. Next, we have this eye that I welded onto the shepherd's hook. There's a sweet spot for this. Too low, and you run the risk of popping it out of the base plate. This seems to be the real sweet spot. And the last thing, this little hook right here, that's the bear feature. I'll get to that in the shop, but trust me, if you're in bear country, you'll want it. Before I handed this over to my neighbor, I wanted a gut check on the physics. Something was nagging at me. I've been eyeballing the hook placement and the paracord spacing, and I realized I've never actually run the math on this. So I fed this sketch into Gemini to do a proper statics analysis. I used it like my TI-85 on steroids. I gave it the geometry and the loads, and I told it, show me what's actually happening down at the base. And what it came back with was a little humbling. See, with the paracord only 5 inches apart, the feeder would eventually come back to the center, but it was kind of mushy and it didn't snap back in a satisfying way. The narrow spacing, it created a massive radius around the pivot point, which meant any little bump translated into a high horizontal force, basically a sliding force, right along the length of the deck boards. But the bigger problem, and I didn't see this coming, because that hook was below the railing, the paracord was actually pulling up on the rod. So it was adding a lifting effect to the whole assembly, and that lift reduced the friction between the bracket and the deck, making the base even more likely to slide if the squirrels got too rambunctious. You know, not ideal when there's a pack of pachyderms prancing on the precipice. So I'm making 2 changes. First, I'm moving the hook up to the point where the cords run roughly level from the railing to the rod. And secondly, I'm spreading the straps from 5 inches apart to 14 inches apart. Night and day. It's solid now. Give it a shove sideways and it snaps right back to the center. And instead of the socket trying to lift up off of the deck, the paracord is now staying neutral, letting the full weight of the feeder seat that bracket down with 5 pounds of gravity-fed force. I'm working with a 7-foot piece of 1/2-inch round bar. It's pretty standard stuff, nothing exotic. I got it from my local metal store. And while this shepherd's hook shape may look complicated, it's really just 2 bends, and I'll walk you through how to make each one. These 2 pins, they're here to brace the rod against when I'm bending it. And then I figured that arc, it was about the size of a relatively new grinding disc. So I'm gonna use that to trace my pattern for the arc. Then I did some crude geometry and figured I needed to go about 155 degrees around this arc with this big bend before transitioning into the smaller bend. And now I have everything drawn out with chalk, so I have a target for my bends. Hey internet, can I use a MAP gas torch to bend this thing? Interesting. Yes, but it's gonna take a long time to heat the metal, and I might need to make a makeshift kiln to hold all the heat in. It can be done, but this is a whole lot quicker and easier. And I didn't really measure or anything. I just picked what seemed like a good spot. Now I'm gonna heat this up, get it good and red. This is what you can't really do with MAP gas. And you're sure not doing it with propane. All right, that looks like it'll make a bend. Let's go like this. Hi-ya! 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 There. Just like that. Bend number one. All right, so here's something we have to think about, right? Where do we put this against the stop so everything works out? So if we were to think about this, it's gonna be something like, I don't know, that long, roughly speaking. And don't touch this because that's hot. But that means if we want to just go like from there to there, that means I need to put a mark right there. Boy, it sure would have been nice if I brought something to mark with. Remember that spot right there. All right, let's bend this. Slightly chaotic, but it's gonna look great. All right, remember, we gotta follow that arc proper like. Don't get too carried away. Oh, I don't know if I like this. Oh, I like this. We're doing good. Let's keep going. Up here, I gotta go like that. What do you think? I think we did that. I think that's proper. All right, I think we did it. I marked this disc with my 155 degrees around the arc. It's actually this one. I don't know what that is. But if I say where I wanted to start, which is there, and then you look and see how we follow this thing, and right about there, we started going straight. So I'd say that's exactly what we wanted. And if this looks goofy, we can always whack off a little bit of that. I just guessed at that length. The only thing we gotta do is that not everything is in the same plane. That looks kind of remedial there. So we'll just heat it up again and straighten it out on the vise. All right, let's see if we can straighten this thing out. Oh, I like that. That's feeling good. That feels like we're heading in the right direction. Does that look straight for you? There you go. Straight enough for the girls I date. All right, let's pretend I'm a bird feeder. There, that's done. Now let's talk about bears. If you're not in bear country, you can ignore this, but I'm in northern Wisconsin, and a black bear will absolutely tear the bird feeder off your deck without a second thought. In fact, I woke up in the middle of the night last summer, and from the open window, I heard a bear walking through the flowers on its way to our suet feeder. And I got up and I hollered at it and it ran off, but I must not be scary enough because he came back a few days later and trashed that suet feeder. Anyway, that made me realize this thing couldn't be too permanently attached to the railing or I'd have a significant repair project ahead of me each time the bear decided it needed a midnight snack. So I put a weak point right here. A hook that's designed to let go before bad things happen to the deck. I'm perfectly fine if the bear gets the bird feeder, I just don't want it to damage the deck. And if that happens, all I need to do is rebend the hook and hopefully rehang the bird feeder, assuming it's not mangled. It's an easy little thing to make and it gives me a lot of peace of mind knowing my deck isn't going to be damaged by Yogi Bear. This luggage scale is the only thing I have, but let's test how much force it takes for this thing to break free. All right, I took all the bird feeders off the deck and I gathered them up with the new ones that I made. And I welded these eyes on 40 inches up from the bottom. I think that's my revised sweet spot. So this should be good to go and we can move on to the next phase. The base plate is the part that took the most design work. I needed it to fit between the deck boards, provide the right pivot point for the entire assembly, and hold the shepherd's hook socket at the right angle. The socket is sized for a snug fit with the rounded end of a 1/2 inch rod I'm using so it doesn't rattle around. I printed this in PETG, not PLA. PLA, that'll get soft on a hot deck in the summer, and the little tabs that go around the deck boards, they could spooge off. PETG, that holds up to the heat. And I got filament that matches my deck boards close enough. Now, if you don't have a 3D printer, that's fine. I'll put a link to the STL file in the description, and then you can upload it to a print service like CraftCloud or TreatStock and have one shipped to you for a few bucks. So you don't need a 3D printer to use this design. I could have left these bare metal or hit them with a rattle can, but I'm gonna do it right. I'm using black Automotive Epoxy primer. It bonds to bare metal, it's rust resistant, and it's gonna hold up through the harsh winter without peeling. This is a whole lot more durable than just normal old spray paint from the hardware store. Oh man, these are gonna look sharp when they dry. Epoxy primer, when you care enough to send the very best. Well, that escalated quickly. All right, all that shop work, and it comes down to this. I center the base plate between the balusters because I'm a symmetric kind of guy. Just set it on the deck boards, no clamps, no tools. The hook drops right into the socket, and then we'll put the bare hook on here. Probably easier to do that first. Ka-chunk. There you go, just like that. So the math says that my straps are gonna be about 14 inches long. So I'm gonna start with a piece that long. So I got plenty to work with. Right over left, left over right. Hi-ya, there's probably a cooler knot for that, but that's what we're gonna use today. And the proof is in the pudding. So let's put a bird feeder on here. Sorry dear if this fails. Boom, confidence. Whoa, see, confidence. That right there, that's what all that statics talk was about. No tools, no hardware, no holes in anything. The railing warranty is still intact, if that's important to you, and 0 damage to the deck. And here's the bonus. The holes in the detritus from the feeders, they drop right down onto the lawn, not on the deck. And that makes my wife happy. She's happy, the birds are happy. I'm gonna call that a win. Now I said at the beginning, I'd show you how to do this without a torch or a welder. And well, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. For those of you without a torch or a welder, here's how you'll do this without any of that. It's the same base plate, same 3D printer file, links in the description. And you just pick up a standard shepherd's hook at any hardware store, and it slips right into this base socket. The geometry still works, especially with what I learned after chatting with Gemini. We'll start by installing everything the same way. Now, instead of welding a hook onto here, I'm just gonna use this paracord, and I'm gonna tie some sort of a something or other on here that allows me to connect that bare hook to that. And since this is obnoxiously long, I'm actually gonna hook it up here a good 6 or 8 inches above the railing just to improve the stability. I don't know what kind of knot this is, but I'm gonna call it a double Putzer. So the same physics apply. Higher and wider is more stable. So find your own sweet spot that matches your sensibilities. So this is a pretty simple setup. No bending, no welding, no painting, and you're done. And if it's too tall, you can always use a hacksaw and whack a foot or two off the bottom. So I made my homemade shepherd's hooks because I liked the tighter geometry compared to the big swooping arches of the store-bought ones. And plus, I just get a kick out of making things like this. But if you just want bird feeders on your composite deck without drilling holes into anything, and you don't have the tools or the interest in making your own custom shepherd's hooks, this is all it takes. A 3D print, $20 shepherd's hooks, and some paracord. Problem solved. If you want to build one of these, the link to the STL file for the base plate is in the description. And if this is your first time here, well, welcome to the shop. We've solved problems. Hit subscribe if that sounds like your kind of content. And if you've got a deck problem and can't figure it out, drop it in the comments. It might be my next video. And now, I'm gonna head over to my neighbor's and drop one of these off for him. He's got the same deck, the same railing, and the same problem. Problem solved.